Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkraiTV here, and I attempted a Pokemon Legends Arceus Nuzlocke using Dawn's team. Okay, before you go and hit the dislike button, I obviously don't have the new game yet. But to create some hype for the future games, I wanted to get accustomed to the Pokemon and the new starters. So playing through Platinum with the Legends Arceus roster, I feel would be the most appropriate way to do this. I based my team off of Dawn's team in the trailer. Here's what it consists of. She's surrounded by Gyarados, Ursaring, Baneri, Luxray, Weasel, and Beautifly. I'll also allow the use of their evolution lines. Ursaring isn't available in Platinum, so I'll use the Universal Randomizer to make Cyndaquil one of the starters. This is fitting, as Cyndaquil is also a starter in Legends Arceus. This Nuzlocke is going to be loads of fun, as all of the encounters are found really early in the game. These Pokemon are also ones which I wouldn't normally use, so let's see how this will end up going. The negative side of this team is that these Pokemon are quite frail defensively, but due to the team's versatile typings, I'm sure this won't be too big of an issue. There will definitely be some tough fights in this playthrough, so make sure to watch the video till the end to see just how well we managed to do. You guys know the rules by now, but here goes. Number 1. All fainted Pokemon must be permaboxed. There's no leveling past the gym leader's ace, and for the Elite Four, the cap will be 59. In-game items are also not allowed. I must catch the first viable encounter on each route, and finally, dupes clause. I'll have more on these rules in the description down below. Quickly before we start, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. Over 95% of you watching aren't subscribed. It only takes a second, but really helps out the channel. Thanks so much, let's get into the video. As I'm using the Legends Arceus roster, I obviously go with Cyndaquil as my starter. I name him Eterna. His nature is quirky, which really isn't quirky at all, as it's a neutral nature. Can you guess what the name theme will be for this video? After running around in some tall grass, I find my first encounter right away, a wild Shinx. I catch him and I give him the name Veilstone. He has the ability Intimidate, which is amazing due to his low defense. And his lonely nature will surely come in handy too, as it turns him into an absolute powerhouse. With Veilstone as a part of my team, I decided to head on over to Oreburgh City while challenging Twig on the way. I don't think Twig will ever be able to beat me if I'm being honest. Veilstone's typing is perfect for this battle, as one Spark easily takes out Starly. Piplup really isn't able to do much either, as Spark finishes him off too. After venturing deep into Oreburgh City's mine, I do some training with Eterna, which causes him to evolve into Aqualava. Even with a buffed up Eterna, Rourke's rock team still seems super deadly, and so I find and catch my next encounter, a Wurmple. I name her Jubilife. Her shield dust ability isn't ideal, and neither is her nature, but hopefully her moveset comes in clutch against Rourke. After training her up, she evolves into a Silcoon, which is amazing, as Harden will definitely come in handy in the first gym. After just a little more training, Silcoon evolves into a Beautifly, whose Absorb should definitely come in handy against Rourke's team, especially due to her 4x weakness against rock moves. After some more leveling, I finally feel prepared enough to take on Rourke. I lead with Jubilife and start off by using Harden. After getting hit by a rock throw, I go for a quite effective Absorb, which brings me right back up to near full health. Onix is sent out next, and so I go for one more Harden. His Stealth Rocks don't end up doing much, as Absorb takes me back to full health. His Rock Throw does surprisingly little damage, which allows me to heal back up to full health with an Absorb. Last up is Rourke's Cranidos. He doesn't do too much damage here, so after a couple Absorbs we get our very first gym badge. After Rowan absolutely schools his galactic grunts, I head to Valley Windworks where I find our next teammate, a wild Buizel. I forgot to stack up on Pokeballs here, but even with just the 2 that I had with me, I managed to catch her and I name her Pastoria. Her nature is docile, which I'm completely fine with. After ending the career of tens of wild Pokemon, Veilstone evolves into a Luxio. I now feel confident enough to take on Commander Mars. Veilstone is the obvious choice here, as Spark easily one-hits Zubat. Perugly comes out next, and after hitting a Fake Out and a Scratch, Spark manages to deal some massive damage. He manages to endure one more Scratch, and then easily takes the win with a Spark. I then head to Eterna Forest where I find a wild Baneri. I catch him and find he's holding a Choppleberry, which is not bad at all. I name him Solaceon. His ability is Run Away, which is miles better than Klutz. His relaxed nature is fine too, although I would have preferred a nature that doesn't decrease speed. With Eterna on my team, the second gym shouldn't be too much of an issue. Here we come, Gardenia. Flame Wheel actually doesn't end up one-shotting Turtwig, but the second shot easily finishes him off. Cherrim's up next. After tanking the Flame Wheel, he manages to get a crit with a magical leaf, which we still manage to tank with ease. He goes down right after too. Roserade somehow ends up being the weakest of them all and ends up getting finished off in one shot. GG Gardenia. After doing some leveling with Pastoria, he evolves into a Float Soul, which will definitely come in handy against Jupiter. Here we go. I lead with a Turna against Zubat and start off with a Flame Wheel. After a Turna easily withstands a Wing Attack, it's game over for Zubat. Next up is Skuntank, whose massive defense will surely be tricky to deal with. I go for a Flame Wheel, after which Skuntank misses her Screech. After another Flame Wheel, she finally hits her Screech. I then switch out to Veilstone, but due to his low defense, he only manages to get off one Spark before I have to switch out to Pastoria. Him being a final evolution gives him a massive advantage here, as he tanks a Night Slash with ease. One Aqua Jet isn't quite enough to take her out, but the second one seals the deal. I then make my way all the way back to Jubilife City, where this stranger gives me his rod. I take it on a fishing trip with the boys, and after changing up my bait, I find a Magikarp who I catch and end up calling Sanjam. His impish nature is literally perfect as it lowers special attack and increases defense. I then run into Cyrus from Pokemon Sun and Moon. Weird they added him to this game. Anyways, I then make my way to Heart Home City, where I take on Fantina's team of ghost types. Pastoria is perfect for this due to her having Crunch. Duskull goes down to just one hit. Fantina sends out Miss Magius next, who actually manages to tank a Crunch and confuse Pastoria. It doesn't end up doing too much though, as she goes down right after. Haunter's up last, but not for long as one Crunch finishes her off. Nice try, Fantina. I run into Twig on the way to Veilstone City. Let's see if he stands a chance this time. I lead with Veilstone and miss a Spark right away. This actually ends up being perfect, as I remember how dangerous Endeavor and Double Team can be. I then go for a tackle to secure the kill and finish him off with Spark. Ponytail's up next, so I go for Spark again. The next one secures the KO. Barry sends out Primple up next, but due to his unfortunate typing, it's an easy 2-hit for Veilstone. After going for a bite against Roselia with Veilstone, I get paralyzed and switch out to Eterna. One Flame will finish off the battle, and once again, Twig takes the L. Now, for a quick segment from our official channel sponsor, Moo Moo Milk. They told me to read out the following statement. Subscribe to DarkraiTV for the best Nuzlocke content out there. I don't know what that means, but let's keep on going. Sanjam then evolves into a Gyarados, and I gotta say, I can't wait to use him when Legends Arceus comes out. I then take on the 4th gym leader, Maylene. She goes with Meditite while I lead with Pastoria. I actually outspeed her with Aqua Jet, so I don't flinch from Fake Out. The next Aqua Jet takes her out. Maylene sends out Lucario next, so I switch up to Sanjam for his typing and Intimidate. After hitting a couple Dragon Rages, I make sure to secure the kill with Splash. I guess the game's lagging or something, cause I don't get the KO, so I guess I just gotta finish him off with Dragon Rage. Now that Machoke's out next, I switch out to Pastoria in fear of Rock Tomb. Aqua Jet doesn't do so much damage, but neither does he, so after some back and forth, I finally get the KO. We're halfway there. After taking on these grunts with Dawn, Veilstone finally evolves into a Luxray. And right after that, Salacion also finally evolves into a Lopunny. My team is beginning to look amazing here. With these new additions to the team, I take on Crasher Wake. Gyarados gets annihilated with a single Thunderfang. Wake sends out Quagsire next, so I switch out to Sanjam. I easily tank a super effective Rock Tomb and go for a Dragon Rage. I keep on tanking his Rock Tombs and finally finish him off with a Dragon Rage. Quagsire does end up landing a Yawn though, so I have to switch out to Veilstone here. I go for a Thunderfang, and with Veilstone having reached his final form, it ends up being an easy KO. This team is actually really good, and it's about to get even better as the turn evolves into a Typhlosion right after. While talking with Crusher Wake, this grunt blows up the Great Marsh, so I go after him and initiate our monthly game attack. And just like usual, I take the easy dub. After walking past this absolutely stunning Moo Moo Milk boutique, I head into this cave with this old lady where Cyrus ends up ambushing me. I'd say it looks more like me ambushing him though by the way this fight went. Sneasel ends up tanking a Thunderfang, after which he heals up. This only ends up slowing his demise though, as a Thunderfang in combination with a tackle is easily enough to finish him off. Golbat doesn't even make it that far as he ends up being an easy one-hit KO. Cyrus's Murkrow doesn't stand a chance either, and just like that, the battle is over. I won't even bother showing the next Twig battle, as he's once again a massive pushover. Here we come, Byron. He sends out Magneton while I go for Eterna. His fire typing is perfect here, as it allows for me to take out Magneton with one Lava Plume. Even Byron's Steelix can't withstand a single hit from Eterna. Bastiodon comes out last, so I switch to Solaceon in fear of a Stone Edge. Even with his 4x weakness to fighting, he still withstands a Drain Punch like an absolute tank. I go for another one right after, but after a Metal Burst leaves me with just a sliver of health, I switch back to Eterna. Stone Edge leaves Eterna with barely under half, but an Oran Berry lets him keep on fighting. Flamethrower ends up burning him, so after Eterna attacks another Stone Edge, it's game over for Bastiodon. Only 2 leaders left to go. While on my annual tea party with Dawn and Rowan, I get called to duty as I have to take on Saturn and Mars. After running into this pile of Team Galactic's Magikarps, Sanjam gets enraged by the treatment of his cousins, which leads to me absolutely annihilating both of these Galactic commanders. I then take on the second to last gym leader, Candace. Eterna once again comes in clutch here. Sneasel goes down to a single Flamethrower. Pillow goes down the same way too. Abuma Snow's 4x weakness gives him an even smaller chance of survival. He's an easy one hit too. Last up is Frostlass, and after hitting Flamethrower, I finished their entire gym with only 4 moves. Not too bad, Eterna, not too bad. I then walk in on Twig, who seems to have lost to Eterna. He'll most definitely have no chance in our battle next week. Speaking of Twig, this grunt here reminds me of him. After joining Cyrus in his weekly bingo competition, I end up losing, so I gotta go take out my wrath on him in a battle. After I easily wipe out Cyrus and Saturn, I hit the Spear Pillar to foil all of Team Galactic's plans. After the 3 Lake Guardians give me an epileptic attack and blind me, I fall into this portal which takes me into what feels like a fever dream, and I'm forced to take on Cyrus. He leads with Houndoom while I go for Solaceon. Drain Punch takes out half his health, and after consuming a Raspberry to get rid of the burn, I take him down the next turn. Next up is Honchkrow, so I choose to switch out to Veilstone. He easily tanks a Drill Peck, after which he scores the one hit with a Thunderfang. Now that Gyarados is up next, I go with a 4x effective Thunderfang, which easily scores the KO. Now for Cyrus's Weavile, I switch out to Eterna. Flamethrower is once again an easy one hit. After surviving a Cross Poison, I go for a Flamethrower against Crobat, which somehow ends up being a one hit too. I don't think I've ever had a team this strong against Cyrus before. Dawn, you really managed to do something right with this team. Giratina is actually pretty strong, but even this Shadow Demon can't handle 2 crunches from Veilstone. Here we come, Sunny Shore City. After confronting Volkner at the lighthouse, I feel like the time is right to finally take on the final gym. Here we go, Volkner. I decide to lead with Solaceon against Jolteon. Solaceon's Cherry Berry heals up his paralysis and lets him do massive damage with a turn. This allows for the next hit to be an easy KO. Next up is Volkner's Raichu. Return is actually really near to a one hit, but so is his Focus Blast. I am faster than him, but due to his quick attack, I have to switch out to Eterna here. Flamethrower once again scores the easy dub. Volkner's ace, Electivire, is up next. Even with his insane base stat total, he still can't handle 2 of Eterna's Flamethrowers. Only Luxray left to go, and you can probably guess what the outcome of this is gonna be. Maybe next time, Volkner. Here we come, Elite Four. While on the way to the Pokemon League, I realized Pokemon centers have maps on their walls. I swear I've never heard of that before, but it's pretty cool. After traversing through the Victory Road and finally making my way through, I destroy Twig for the last time and take on the Elite Four. I make my way up to Aaron, and I naturally lead with Eterna. I go for a Flamethrower against the Omega, which ends up being a one-shot. He sends out Vespiquen next, which also goes down to one hit. Heracross can try all he wants, but even he doesn't manage to get a shot off. Caesar's 4x weakness causes him to faint too. For Drapion, I go for an Eruption just to secure the win. That's the easiest Aaron run I've ever done. Let's see what Bertha manages to do. She goes for a Whiscash while I send out Pastoria. Waterfall ends up doing good damage, and after she sets up a sandstorm, her time in this battle is over. Gliscor comes out next, and she actually manages to tank a waterfall. Her earthquake does some good damage, but not enough to stop this sweep, as 2 more hits score the win. Golem obviously goes down in 1 hit, and Rhyperior's typing makes him go down too. Last but not least, Bertha sends out a Hippowdon. Just to be safe, I send out Sanjem, who takes no damage from earthquake. A couple of waterfalls finishes her off too. Maybe next time, Bertha. Here comes Fire-type Flint. I go with Pastoria here, as her speed should definitely come in handy. As you can probably expect, Houndoom goes down to a single hit. He even outspeeds Infernape and takes him out with 1 shot. Flint then sends out Rapidash to his inevitable demise. Even Magmortar can't survive a waterfall, although she does end up burning Pastoria. For this reason, I go for a Surf with Pastoria, and even though Giga Impact does massive damage, it's not enough to stop the sweep. Only Lucian left to go. I once again choose to lead with Pastoria due to her amazing speed stat. It allows her to outspeed Mr. Mime and score the 1-shot with Crunch. She even outspeeds Alakazam and gets the 1-hit KO. For Gallade, I choose to switch out to Veilstone. He easily tanks a Leaf Blade and then does decent damage with Thunderfang. After nearly being taken out, he lands 1 more hit and then decides to bring out Sanjem. A single waterfall is enough to finish Gallade off. Espeon doesn't do too much damage, so I go for a couple of bites which easily finishes him off. Bronzong is up next, so I switch out to Eterna for the finisher. 1 eruption is easily enough to take down Bronzong, win the battle, and take on champion Cynthia. I realized that I forgot to take along a bunch of battle items that could have helped out a lot, but it's too late to go back now. There's nothing left but you, Cynthia, bring it on. As she starts with Spiritomb, I decide to go for Jubilife. She actually manages to outspeed Spiritomb and land 2 Bug Buzzes before dying. Not too bad for a Pokemon with a base stat total of less than 400. I send out Pastoria next. I go for a Waterfall while Cynthia heals up. I then go for an Aqua Jet, and after tanking her Shadow Ball, I take her down with Waterfall. Next up is Cynthia's Roserade, so I go for a Crunch. Even though it'll lead to Pastoria's certain death, it will provide a safe switch out. Thanks for everything, Pastoria. You truly were an MVP. I then send out Eterna, who gets an easy KO with Flamethrower. I go for an Eruption to try and do some big damage, but Milotic is just way too beefy. I then go for a Rock Slide, which ends up making her flinch. So does the next one, and the next. This actually lets Milotic heal up, which sucks as now she's able to tank a lot more damage. There goes Eterna, you were great. I then send out Veilstone, who actually scores the KO with Thunderfang. Now, for her feared run-ender, Garchomp. I switch out to Sanjem, whose immunity to ground lets the switch in be safe. 1 Avalanche is easily enough to finish off Garchomp. Cynthia sends out Togekiss, who unfortunately takes down Sanjem in 1 hit. Nice try, champ. I then send out Veilstone due to his typing. I go for a Thunderfang, but not before getting hit by a powerful Aura Sphere. And there goes Veilstone too. This is really getting too close for comfort. Luckily, Salacia manages to outspeed Togekiss and get the KO. Last but not least, she sends out her Lucario. This matchup seems pretty bad for me, but I did give Salacia the Triple Bay she was holding when I caught her, so she should easily be able to tank 1 hit. But clearly that wasn't needed, as Jump Kick ended up being a crit. And there goes the champion. I loved using Dawn's team throughout this entire playthrough. Each team member played a vital role in this run, and I couldn't have done this without them. I can't wait for Sinnoh and Hisui to come out in 3D. Are you guys as hyped for these releases as I am? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to let me know you want to see more Nuzlocke content. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace out.